The member for Fisher.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and I'm extraordinarily grateful to the member for Kingsford Smith, since he gives me the perfect opportunity to highlight once again, for the benefit of the House, the stark contrast which exists between some of the best of what has been achieved in protecting workers and the diabolical conduct of the absolute embarrassment which passes for a trade union in the Australian construction sector today. Banning forced or compulsory labour, prohibiting discrimination on race, gender, religion or politics, working to stop dangerous child labour, these are critical projects, and doubtless the International Labour Organisation has played a valuable and worthwhile role. But in stark contrast to these admirable achievements, what is today's CFMMEU fighting for? The right for workers to walk off the job if the temperature exceeds 28 degrees Celsius and the humidity rises above 75% in south-east Queensland. Now, for the benefit of our southern members, 28 degrees is not a hot day in south-east Queensland. Frankly, I hope the CFMMEU officials who dreamt this up are ashamed of themselves. But I wouldn't hold my breath. There were 13 days last year which would have been lost as a result of these conditions. So that's what today's CFMMEU are fighting for. Nearly an extra 3 working weeks off for its members, which most workers would be ashamed to take, surely. 13 days a year on which our police officers, our firefighters, our council workers, farmers and posties will carry on working and contributing to this country while watching our construction workers shirk off for a lie down in the shade. That is, only those construction workers working on a CFMMEU building site. Actually, I'm a builder, so there you go. Shut down! Unfortunately, however, as we know, today's CFMMEU gets much worse than simply imposing unproductive and pathetic rules like this. Just a few days ago, we saw the latest in a seemingly endless procession of fines imposed on the CFMMEU for unlawful behaviour. No amount of financial penalties, it seems, is enough to make these recidivist lawbreakers reconsider their constant contraventions. There's an irony to this motion, Deputy Speaker, coming as it does in the wake of this latest judgment. The member for Kingsford Smith asks the House to recognise the ILO's role in promoting freedom of association, while all over Australia it is a freedom the CFMMEU consistently denies to workers in the construction industry. In the most recent case, CFMMEU official Kevin Patterson defied that right by preventing an electrician and a young apprentice from working on a site at Monash University because they were not members of the union. As Justice Snowden said, it is bad enough that it should so casually intrude upon rights of freedom of free association, so valued by societies of conscience. Much worse that it should do so, yet again, in deliberate defiance of the law that it has been told time and time again that it must obey. Now, Mr Deputy Speaker, I doubt the fines of $69,000 imposed by the court will do anything to stem the tide of CFMMEU law-breaking. $16 million of previous fines have not. As Justice Snowden pointed out, there is a long list of judicial officers whose exasperated admonitions appear to have been met with studied indifference. Victorian State Secretary John Setka is reported to have been dismissive of judges who call criminals and all sorts of things and fine us millions of dollars despite having probably never done a day's work in their lives. Deputy Speaker, if Mr Setka and his co-conspirators in the CFMMEU do not want their organisation to be called criminal, then I would suggest that a simple remedy exists. Stop behaving like criminals. Learn to obey the laws of this country and get back to work. Mr Setka this week is taking part in the CFMMEU's national conference in Adelaide. I understand he's trying to bring the South Australian branch of the union under his own branch's control. God help the country. God help the currently successful and growing construction industry in South Australia if his empire building is allowed to go on.